Once all the columns have been fabricated, they can now be attached to the steel plates on the pavilion footings. To begin the process of lifting the column into place, it's easiest to thread the bottom bolt first so that it can act as a pivot when lifting the column upright later on. To help with the weight of the column, a short scaffolding can be assembled opposite the footing and the top end rested above the ground. The bottom of the column can now be lifted into place by a small group, ideally with one person to act as a spotter for when the column comes into alignment with the hole pre-drilled in the footing plates. This person can also guide the team to lift the column to the correct place. Once the holes are aligned, the threaded bolt can be passed through the log and a washer and nut fitted to each side and tightened. Now that the bottom bolt is fitted, the column can be pivoted into position to fit the top bolt. This time, a higher scaffolding will be needed for raising the column into place. Split lifters into a ground team and a team to lift on the scaffolding to spread the weight along the full length of the column. As the column is lifted into place, repeat the process of fitting the first bolt by having a spotter to help position it correctly in relation to the steel plate. Once again, thread the bolt through the holes once they're aligned, hammering it into place if needed. Add a washer and nut to the bolt, tightening them as much as possible. The column can now be released to stand on its own. With the column bolted upright, sheet metal strapping can be fitted around the log in the same way as the top fitting during the column fabrication stage. Pin the strapping to the log and work around from that point, making sure to maintain tension whilst hammering in cloud nails. At the end, remove the pin and fit 2 nails to the tail end of the strapping, rounding off any sharp corners as you do so. This process can now be repeated for the remaining columns, making sure that columns of the correct length and with the correct top connections are being fitted to each footing. The top connections should now be visibly reasonably aligned, though small adjustments can be made later by taking advantage of their flexibility when fitting roof components. As each column set is lifted and bolted into place, they should also be braced using lengths of timber. This bracing can be screwed directly into the columns and should remain in place until the roof is complete. By fitting the bracing, the flex in the columns can be minimised while the roof isn't tying them together.